Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another Wednesday night, Fundamentals to Gain Inner Peace, with your host, Coach Menachem Bernfeld. Is this me or my story? Great question. And the topics the past few weeks is pretty interesting to get to hear our voices, the voices in our mind, to see who is in control, what's real and what's not, what part of it is me. So just to notice those voices is a big step. For many, it takes time, but once you notice the voices, sometimes you can't get rid of them. You're like they're all over the place, but that's amazing. If you can see that, you're ahead of the game. And then we discussed our story, the story that we tell ourselves. When you ask yourself, who am I? What am I good at? These things, listen to what the answers are. And many times we walk around with the story, this is who I am, this is what I do. And we could be walking around with that story for many years. And now, when we're trying to challenge those thoughts, you might have a hard time. You might have a hard time seeing that it's just a thought. Who decided? How do you know? We can always challenge that when the thought comes up and says, I'm not good at, I can't, I'm not an artist. I can't sing. I'm not good at numbers. I can't figure that out. Really? Who told you that? Is that true? So start asking these questions so you have a dialogue between your story and maybe something else. And we want to get to a place where, number one, where you can be open for new suggestions, where you could be open to say, maybe I could try. I'm not sure. I thought I'm not good, you know, but I could try. And then you try once, twice, and practice. That's what it is. And you say, oh, I never knew I can sing. I never knew I can type. I never knew I can, whatever it is, whatever you want to do. So it's really seeing the voices, becoming aware of our story, the story that I'm telling myself about myself, the narrator. And yes, it could be the inner critic many times. That's a voice. If you hear that inner critic, there's something inside of you constantly criticizing. And if you see that, you can smile and say, I hear you. What else would you like to tell me? You might hear a lot of criticism. And just listen. So you're the one listening to those voices. And then eventually you can say, do I want to follow what the voices are saying or maybe continue? So then you're in control once you can hear it. For beginners, it takes practice. Don't give up. Spend a few minutes every day just slowing down. And it's important to be able to get there. Sometimes you really have to slow down, and we're going to try to do that today. Really get to a quiet place where you can hear those voices. Many people can hear right away, but others don't really connect to the idea. But if you slow down and slowly you can hear the voices or see the voices or feel the voices. And the example that I would say is, if you try to sit down in one place without any distractions for 5 minutes, close your eyes, no phone, no nothing, just sit there for 5 minutes and look what happens. Just observe. You'll see. Many can't even make it after just for 2 minutes. And they don't realize, why did you get up? Something inside of you said, it's not working, or I don't know what you're looking for, you're busy, why did you stop? It's like, whoa, those are voices. So how do I know if it's a voice or maybe that is me? Maybe the story is, like somebody asked last week, reality. That's the reality. That's who I am. So who is the real me if the voices are not me? So who am I? So let's talk about it. And we're going to try to slow down so we can get to hear those voices a little bit, so we can see it, listen to it, and decide if you want to follow or not. Then you could be in control. Okay, so let's just, before we start, get grounded, practice slowing down, take a deep breath. Let's arrive into the room just for a few minutes. Hopefully, you won't be distracted. You can be here in the moment. And if you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes and notice your breath in and out. Beautiful. Breathe in and out. Just feel it, notice it. Nothing needs to change. Notice your body on the chair. Just feel it. We're not fixing anything. We're just noticing. And notice any sounds in the room. Just be aware of where you are. And then you can turn inwards to notice any sensations, any feelings in your body. And that's it. You're doing great. In the present moment. And if there are voices, just notice them. Something is saying inside of you. It's saying something. Just notice. And keep on breathing. Beautiful. Okay. So here we are. So we're becoming aware of the voices, and now the question is, how do I know if what I'm hearing is really me or it's just my story? So let's imagine for a moment, imagine a classroom with, energetic, hyper kids. The teacher walks out for a few minutes, and the kids become active. They're jumping around, talking loud, maybe fighting, playing. There's a lot of action, there's a lot going on. Throwing things, screaming, running around. If you look inside from the window, it looks like there's total chaos. And now the teacher walks in. Teacher walks into the room and stands by the door. For those who can control the class, they walk in. It takes a few seconds. They all quiet down. They all go back to their seats. And it's back in order. So you're the one that's like the teacher walking in. If once you become aware, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of noise. Maybe critical or stories about yourself. There's a lot going on in your head. But eventually, if you can see and listen to those voices, you can decide, let me walk into that classroom for a minute, stand by the door and just observe. So you're the one that's observing, like the teacher. You might show up to a mind that says, I'm not enough. No one cares. I can't. I always mess up. All of these messages and voices. So it's like those kids in the classroom. all the thoughts and emotions. Sometimes the feelings also. You feel down, you feel it's not going to work, you're not in the mood, not in the mood. So you just become aware of those voices, of the feelings, and then you show up. You're the one that observes the voices. You're listening and you're observing the feeling in your body. And you come there and you just show up and look at it. Just look at it. Sometimes it does slow down, but that's not the goal. The goal is first to be able to be the teacher, walk into that space and just observe. So let's stop for a moment and just think, what's that message, story, thought that comes up, that you've observed, that comes up for you many times? And you're ready to challenge it, to ask yourself what to observe, to just see it. Before challenging is being able to zoom out and see it. Once we see it, we can say, where is that from? You can let me know in the chat if anything comes up, any thoughts. And sometimes it's very subtle. Like, why is this happening? That's a voice. Just listen. Why am I like this? Why do I feel this way? Hmm, beautiful. I tried so many times, it didn't work. Okay, now you might argue and say it's reality, but before we go there, just see the voice. There's somebody inside of you saying the story. And it might be a story that's been for many years. So just being aware of that is amazing. Okay, so let's observe. What does a teacher do when they walk into the room? Hopefully they don't scream. They just stand by the door. Just by being there, just by noticing, the energy shifts automatically. Things change. Might not be perfect, but something is happening. That hopefully it's a teacher that's has that calm presence. Take a deep breath. You know it's noisy. There's a lot going on. You walk in and you wait a second. You don't get lost. So that's the part, that deep sense of that calm presence. That will call for tonight. That is you. And you're the one that's observing. So anytime you get caught up, anytime you feel, well, whether it's ups and the downs, usually the emotion and the thoughts come from some story, the way you're looking at a situation, a perspective, and that's what makes you think a certain way, feel a certain way. But if you can observe that, then you're the calm person looking at a situation. So what's the real you? Good question. What's the real you? There's different ways to look at it, but I think, whether you want to talk about the chilik kamimal, the neshama, the soul, there's many ways to look at it. But for tonight, just to keep it simple, it's just seeing as an observer. If you can listen to the thoughts, if you can observe the emotions, see what your body feels, you're the one that's listening. You're not the voice that panics. You're the one that sees the voice panic. You're aware, you're present, and you're able to pause. And then you can choose. But you can pause. But again, I know I see it myself. It's not always easy. And sometimes I try to practice stopping and noticing and finding that calm me. But all I see is the panic me. I'm not seeing the calm me. So what would you do? What would you do in a situation where there's a lot of traffic and you have to get to that meeting and you're nervous and your heart is beating and you're like, where is that calm me? The answer is the one that's asking that question. That's you. Where is that calm me? Beautiful. And you're in a great place. If you can actually observe, you're observing. No, I want to feel the calm. I know. I know you want to feel it. You're not feeling it. But just see, I'm nervous. I'm chaotic. There's panic. My body feels it. Just if you can just feel that, then you are the one that's observing. So stopping and taking a deep breath and seeing that you're nervous, that is the work. You're doing a great job. If you can do that, that's beautiful. Your mind might say, I want to feel calm. We'll get there one day, Mitzvah Hashem. But just by saying, I want to feel calm and I'm not, that means you're observing. My mind says many times, yeah, I'm observing, but I don't like this. What does it help me if I observe? Observe. I see, you don't like it. You see, already it takes me into that seat, it takes me into the observer seat. And again, it doesn't mean you're going to like it. In a situation where you don't like, but seeing that, that's what we're looking for. So let's try this. Okay, let's take a deep breath, stop for a moment, and just notice a thought. What's going on in your mind? You can share in the chat any thought that comes up. Just notice anything you tell yourself. Beautiful. Now notice a sensation in your body. Just notice. And now notice that you're noticing the thought and the sensation. You're the one that's noticing. You're aware of any thought that comes up or any sensation that you feel. Beautiful. So who's noticing? Who's listening to that voice? Who's noticing the sensation? That's you. There you go. So whenever you feel lost in a story, lost in a feeling, you can quietly say, you can tell yourself, I am the one who is noticing. I am the one who notices. Might not change, might not like what's going on, but you're noticing that you don't like it. And just by being able to say that, you're like the teacher walking into the room and just seeing kids are running around and they might not stop right away. And that's okay. And if you don't like it, notice. Notice that you don't like it. So here's an example. You show up late to a simcha. Oh my. Your husband, your wife came late, traffic. You walk in, everybody's sitting there already, and you have to walk in. What's the voice that comes up? What's the feeling? Everybody's going to notice. There I go, again, late. I'm always late. Listen to those voices, listen to the story. If you can pause and take a deep breath, yes, I'm late. Doesn't define who I am. let's keep the story with that fact. I am late. Okay. Find a seat, sit down, smile. Just notice the breathing, notice what comes up. So again, you might feel anxious feeling, you might feel whatever comes up, but that's fine. Once you notice that feeling, then you continue. It doesn't have to stop you, and you don't have to continue that story in your mind. You notice the feeling that comes up, and then you go to your seat and you say hi. That's it. Another example, you send a text to a good friend, and there happens to be a vulnerable text. Something going on, and you share it, and there is no response. It's already a few hours, and your mind is saying, "Oh, I shouldn't have sent that text. Why did I send? What are they thinking?" And the stories, just listen to that. Listen to all the stories that come up, and made them uncomfortable. They don't know what to answer now. I always do this. Just notice the feeling that comes up. Pause and notice. This is what I'm feeling. Is it me? It's not me. It's what I'm feeling. You are the one that's noticing the feeling. I don't know what's going on with them, and I'm not sure why they're not responding. I don't know. That's it. Maybe I'll find out. Maybe I won't. But you can only do that after you pause, notice the feelings that come up, notice the thoughts, the stories you're telling yourself, and then you can say, I don't know, maybe they close their phone for a few days. Wow, smart move. I should try that. You never know. Here's another example. A father raises the voice, comes home after a hard day. The kids are loud, spilling drinks, and he screams. Doesn't happen often, but sometimes it does. And you find yourself feeling bad, guilty. What am I doing? I'm just doing what my father did. Why am I continuing this cycle? You start feeling all the negative feelings. The shame settles in. You don't know what to do. If you can pause and notice all of those thoughts, just stay there, listen to the thoughts, listen to what comes up. Eventually, you can tell yourself, okay, I lost my patience. Usually doesn't happen, but this is what happened now. I do care deeply about my children. I usually do a good job. I always do a good job. Sometimes, we're not perfect. That's it. Take responsibility. What can I do next time so it doesn't happen? Wow. That's clean, clear, no stories. Doesn't have to pull you down. Beautiful. Okay, so this is the concept. Again, is it easy? Not always. Sometimes we get caught up in the story and we believe I am part of the story and I just hate myself in the situation I'm in and I'm always in the situation I just don't like it. But if we can learn to pause and see what we're saying, then that's step number one. That's it. You're the one that's observing. You're not the thought and you're not the emotion. You're not the thought. Any thought that comes up, listen to it, and you're not the emotions. Beautiful. Okay, that's it for tonight. You can stop for a moment and become aware of what you're feeling. Are you a little bit more relaxed? Any stories in your mind? Maybe it's saying, this doesn't really work for me. Listen to it. And if you want to learn or explore your personal story, if you feel like you need a little bit of assistance, you're getting caught up, then I'm offering reach out. And some of you, I've had a call already, which was amazing. Reach out, send me a message, coachmenachem@gmail.com, and let's get on a call. Might be with a few tweaks. You might see change. Okay, we'll open it up for a few minutes for questions, or you can send it in the chat. Let me know if anything, clarification, feedback, anything that came up. What if you just can't get yourself moving and just start your task? I'm wondering what's the voice. If you can stop for a moment and think when you're just stuck and you don't want to get up, what's the voice saying? I'm not in the mood, it's not going to work. Become aware of the voice and then smile. So that's step number one. Another option is to do jumping jacks. Whoa. Your body is not going to be ready for that. But you're going to say, wait, we're going to play some games now. I know you want to stay on the couch. You've been here for 2 hours. Let's do some jumping jacks. And then you see, different energy. It's a different, we discussed it in the past, change the energy. Because sometimes we're stuck in an energy which you don't see yourself moving. But again, I believe the energy, it's all one. The story, the voices, the feelings, the emotions, and the energy. You can see some people understand energy more than the voices. Other people can tap into sensations in their body. So start with whatever works for you. Stop for a moment, take a deep breath, and say, where am I? What am I feeling? And then you can tell yourself, I'm the one who's noticing these feelings. I'm the one who's noticing the voices. Beautiful. Thank you very much. And as of now, we're going to do it Wednesday night at 8:30. Thank you for showing up. And for those who missed it, you can always watch the recording. So thank you. Thank yourself for taking some time off. Do the work. Find some time for yourself that you deserve. And we will be in touch.